A high school football coach in Kentucky is charged with reckless homicide in the death of one of his players. Early Show national correspondent Jeff Glor is in Louisville this morning. Good morning, Jeff.
Maggie, good morning to you. You don't have to spend much time here in Louisville to see the kind of interest this story has generated. And today, that coach here in court will be arraigned.
Would you pray with me, please?
In 20-degree weather Sunday night, hundreds showed up at a prayer service and rally for David Jason Stinson. The coach indicted last week on a reckless homicide charge, 5 months after one of his players, 15-year-old Max Gilpin, collapsed during practice and died 3 days later.
My heart's broken.
Over the weekend, Stinson spoke to supporters outside his home.
The one thing people came to forget in this whole situation is I lost one of my boys out there that day.
He says the truth will prevail, but a grand jury thought the facts warranted the homicide charge, believed to be the first time a coach has faced one in a case like this.
They found enough criminal evidence to prosecute him. I want him to be prosecuted.
Gilpin's parents, who filed a civil lawsuit, say Stinson was punishing the boys, withholding water, and that one player had already collapsed before Max.
Is he breathing?
Yes, he's breathing. Yeah, he's kind of going in and out on us, though.
Is he completely awake?
He keeps going. Yeah, he's awake. We're trying to get him open his eyes right now.
He didn't mean to hurt anybody.
It's a story that has provoked deep emotion on both sides, not just here, but across the country. Anger and sadness.
I have to stop being a dad, but I'm still, a dad.
Jason Stinson has been reassigned inside the school system while this case is pending. He's expected to be released on his own recognizance today after this arraignment. Maggie?
CBS's Jeff Glor. Thank you, Jeff. Joining us now also from Louisville, Brian BUTLER, Coach Stinson's lawyer, and Josh HEALY, one of Max Gilpin's teammates. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Maggie?
Good, thank you. Brian, I want to ask you how Coach Stinson will plead today at his arraignment.
He'll enter a plea of not guilty this morning.
Does that mean he believes he is not liable for anything here?
Absolutely not. He denies all criminal liability in this and looks forward to the truth coming out in the legal proceedings.
You know, as a parent, if my child was forced to practice in sweltering heat, I would want someone held responsible.
Well, there's no question that this is an absolute tragedy. It's every parent's worst nightmare. But tragedies happen, and someone's not always at fault for a tragedy, and Jason Stinson is not at fault for this tragedy.
Let me talk to Josh, because I know you were there that day at practice, Josh. Is it true that Coach Stinson was withholding water even after another player had collapsed?
No, ma'am, it's not. Before we even practiced, we already had, 2 to 3 water breaks already, and, when everybody started slipping up, we didn't have water because we had to run gassers. But, whenever we got done running gassers, everything was fine. Coach Stinson gladly told us, go get some water. So we did.
Has practice ever been canceled because it's too hot? Had the coach ever said it's just too hot to keep playing?
Yes, ma'am. We've had some practices where, it's been too hot, or it's been too cold, so we didn't have practice that day. But that heat that day wasn't that bad. It wasn't to the point where we couldn't practice. So
what do you think should change after Max's death? Is there any good or change that can come of this, Josh?
Good thing about this is there's nothing good that could ever come of this. I've done lost Max. I mean, I'm really not willing to lose, my coach.
Okay, let me go back to you, Brian. If he is convicted of this, what kind of jail time are we talking about?
It's a Class D felony in Kentucky and carries a penalty of 1 to 5 years in prison.
If he is not convicted and doesn't go to prison, what lesson will he have learned?
I think from Coach Stinson's perspective, this is an absolute tragedy. He's lost a player. He's lost someone that he cared about. I mean, obviously, that's not in any way comparison to a parent losing a child, but I don't think that there's anything in that practice that was abnormal or that it really every coach in America doesn't do. I mean, kids they run gassers in football, and in fact, this practice that Coach Stinson held that day was 30 minutes shorter than the average practice, and every high school football team in Louisville was practicing that day. So there was nothing unusual about this practice. This coach did not deny his players water, and he certainly didn't want something bad to happen to one of his players.
Okay, Brian Butler and Josh Healy, I thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Maggie.